Hi, I'm Judy.
And I'm Tamara.
Welcome to Balance Not Boring, the wellness podcast that's not about extremes or perfection.
Just real conversations on balancing your mind, body, and soul in our bustling city of Dubai.
So grab your tea and get comfy with us.
Oh, and fair warning, you will learn something.
Hey Balance Babes, before we get into today's episode, a quick shout out to our sponsor, Generation H. They're not your typical wellness store. They're all about real, clean food that fuels a healthy, happy life. Founded by clinical dietitian Tonie-Maria Abi Nader, Generation H cuts through the noise. Their strict H code guarantees no trans fats, no artificial flavors, and no hidden junk. Only honest, nutritious choices. Whether you're gluten-free, dairy-free, keto, or even vegan, they've got you covered. So if you're on a wellness journey just like us, check them out at generationh.ae because healthy living should be easy and enjoyable. Let's dive in. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Balance Not Boring. This is a podcast made just for you to relate on all wellness topics, but the difference is that we keep things real, digestible, and factual. We've talked about the importance of the gut health in previous episodes, but today we're diving into one of the most misunderstood topics in women's health, the gut hormone connection, and why so many women do everything right, yet still feel really tired, bloated, and stuck. So if you have ever felt like you're eating healthy, sleeping well, and doing your workouts, but still feel sluggish and off, today's episode is for you. In this episode, we're uncovering what your gut is trying to tell you about your hormones. Today, we have the lovely Tonie-Maria Abi Nader, a mom of two and a registered dietitian and nutritionist who specializes in women's health and longevity through food. As the founder of Generation H, she empowers women to cut through the nutrition noise, understand what their bodies truly need, and build sustainable habits that support hormones, metabolism, and well-being. Toni, welcome to the pod.
Thank you.
Yay, and we have Tamara here as well. She's back. So this is a full house finally. We're so excited.
Yeah.
So to start off, to break the ice, we want to know what made you specialize in women's gut and hormone health.
What made me specialize in women's gut health and hormone health was myself.
Okay.
So even as a dietitian, I struggled a lot with I had PCOS, I had infertility, I wasn't able to have kids at the beginning. I had a lot of, even body image complexities because of my bloating all the time. So I dig deeper into things and I found that the solution is just taking care of what you put inside your body, your lifestyle. So I decided to focus more and help other women around me who are, experiencing the same symptoms and the same fatigue of everything that happens to our bodies.
Wow. I think that's beautiful that you've been through that.
Yes.
You have your personal experience because that kind of makes you want to help others. Like it's a natural progression into this. Yeah. And you have this like genuine passion towards it. How do you feel after you've researched and gone into that, your education? Do you feel like you've helped solve some of the issues you faced?
Personally, yes. My health shifted by just, focusing on what's really inside the food, balancing my meals, balancing my blood sugar. A lot of small habits that I did on a daily basis shifted my health from one place to another. And I've also seen this shift in a lot of my patients and my clients. The energy changes, their hormone gets more stable, and science keeps advancing. So I'm also very excited to keep learning about this topic because what we studied in nutrition school is so different than what's happening nowadays. The food we eat is different. The chemicals we're surrounded with is different. Our lifestyle and the modern life that we live is so different. So new studies are emerging, new ways of addressing this hormonal imbalances, gut health issues. There's always new ways of, and there's no one size fits all also.
Yeah.
So I love how passionate you are about that because I also had gut issues. Yeah. I'm actually curious to know, especially with the customers or clients that you deal with, when it comes to gut imbalances, for example, you experience bloating. I experience extreme bloating as well. How can it manifest in other ways? It might not be bloating, it could be other things.
Yeah, this is what I tell them is like gut health issues goes way beyond just bloating, constipation, digestive issues. Your gut is your mood, your immunity, your mental health. So some symptoms go unseen or unrecognized because they're like part of our lifestyle. For example, mood swings, brain fog, inability to lose weight or putting on more fat, especially around the abdomen and the hips, insomnia, anxiety, even in the long term, depression, Alzheimer, a lot of mental health issues are related to gut health disturbances. So I tell them your gut, yes, it's where food is being digested. And they say that your gut is your second brain. But I keep saying this, that your gut is your first brain. It's your command center. It's your army that's protecting what goes inside your body from what you put inside your body. So if your gut is inflamed, it's out of balance, imagine all the things that can penetrate that gut lining that doesn't belong in your body. So your body immediately addresses it as a stranger thing, fires up inflammation, and the story goes on. So from chronic inflammation to other chronic diseases. So to answer you short, yes, it can be bloating, it can be a bit of, feeling unease with yourself, but it also could be about skin as well. Like skin health is directly related with the gut. So we talk about the gut-skin axis, same like the gut-brain axis. So acne, skin issues, all the things I listed, brain fog, depression.
So if our listeners randomly get a rash, here and there, or they just don't know why they get, maybe it is around their cycle, but like it's maybe the acne, hormonal acne here. It's all the way that the hormones are metabolized in the gut, right?
Yeah.
So the gut is important in clearing out the toxins, and if it's not in the optimal state, we tend to see it. It manifests in the skin. Yeah. It's the largest organ, which we learned.
It's the largest organ, and the first sign of gut inflammation is on the skin also, which is also another large organ, but it's on the outside. So gut is your army, and if you don't make sure that your army, like your defense mechanism, is always strong and in good state, you would be facing a lot of symptoms that result from the gut inflammation.
What is the first step you would say to healing? Say somebody comes up to you and they have skin issues, they have insomnia, they have headaches, bloating, they have the whole package, which some of us do. Where do you start?
As I said, there's no one size fits all. So I always start with trying to understand the full image, that first, the food that we're eating. What are we eating? How are we eating? When are we eating? But at the same time, I look at other lifestyle factors. How's your sleep? How's your stress level? And how's your movement? And all these factors play major roles in supporting your gut health. So if we start with what's on your plate, the things that I would swap is ultra-processed food. And this could be easily misplaced by, for example, plant-based milk. So a lot of people swap cow milk with plant-based milk thinking it's healthier for them. Some of the swaps are from healthy to healthier. So from healthy to cleaner, let's say. So it could be the milk that they are using, the bread that they are using. So things that is part of your daily lifestyle, the energy bars, the protein bars. We try to swap these with cleaner options. And when we look at our food, one of the major things we look is I call it the metabolic plate. So a plate that helps stabilize your blood sugar. And that plate looks like half of it from veggies, especially high fiber veggies like broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts. And the other half is divided between protein and complex carbs. And if every meal is structured in this way, your blood sugar will remain stable throughout the day, because blood sugar swings really impact your insulin, and insulin is the hormone that controls all the hormones in the body. So first, we look at structuring the metabolic plate. Second of all, how we're eating. And this is a part where a lot of us, even myself, don't pay attention. We eat in a rush. We eat while answering emails. We read when we're like texting others or scrolling on social media. We sometimes eat when we're standing. So eating in a rush really impacts gut health, because your body needs to rest to digest. So if you're always eating in this rush without really munching on food, you're always going to be in this stressful body situation where your body will never reset to be able to digest. So this is the second thing I focus on, and I make sure that Whenever you're eating, give yourself 15-20 minutes only with that meal. Be mindful, eat slowly, munch your food, because digestion also starts in the mouth. Take it easy, remove all digital, all distraction on the side, and to be able to digest your food properly and avoid that bloating that happens usually after we eat in a rush. So we talked about what we eat, how we eat, when we eat is very important. We try to structure meals apart, keeping space for digestion. So usually every 4 to 6 hours we have our main meals. Ideally, trying to space out the last meal 2 to 3 hours before bedtime. Also because sleep is where your body restores. So we tried much as we can to space out dinner like 2-3 hours before bedtime. So this is when we eat. Now, when it comes to the lifestyle factors which play major role in gut health is sleep. And it's not necessarily how much you sleep, it's the quality of sleep. You can sleep for 4 or 5 hours and still have a good quality sleep. And to have good quality sleep, there's many things that we work on. One of them is digital disconnect before sleep, trying, to do something that relaxes your system, like reading a book or just having a warm shower, anything that is away from that dopamine rush that comes from, scrolling on your phone. And stress. So stress is inevitable. We all live in a very stressful life, and actually stress is part of your survival. It's how your body, it's fight or flight mode. But dealing with chronic stress is inevitable to have a healthy body and a healthy gut. And to do that is not difficult. So yes, we lead stressful lives, but we can also manage chronic stress by taking breaks throughout the day, practicing some deep breathing. 5-10 minutes is enough for your body to really, cool down and reset your system. Positive mindset as much as you can. Whenever you're overwhelmed with all these thoughts and having negativity around you, try just to reconnect with the positive things in your life. It really helps, lowers your cortisol levels and, lower, the stress in the body. Taking walks, exposing yourself to sunlight as well, 5 minutes in the morning, exposure to sunlight really lowers the cortisol levels as well as improving the gut health. So there's so many things we work around, and it's not only about the food. And together, when you do them, and you don't have to do them all at once, building these small habits day by day really leads to big impact on your life versus doing one occasional change that is not sustainable.
It's more of a lifestyle change.
It's a lifestyle change.
What's funny is most people don't think of the gut as something connected to a bigger range of issues or obstacles that you can work on. So for example, just changing your mindset, instead of letting yourself in the cycle of, I'm so tired, I'm stressed, I have this, if you stop and change that, maybe your gut will relax, at least for me. Yeah. And I would love our listeners to take this time and practice. Right now, are you feeling stressed? Why don't you actively change that mantra in your head? See, does your stomach feel a little bit softer, smoother? Yeah. It's really connected.
It is connected.
It is all super connected. And I actually wanted to pick your brains on something you just said. Yeah. I was listening to a podcast. It was a podcast about weight loss. Yeah. And the person that was on this podcast was saying of course it has a lot to do with what you're eating, but it also has even more so how you eat and where you eat and how much you chew your food. Yes. So say, for example, for our listeners that have such high stressful jobs, or they're always on the go and they can't do even 50% of what was listed. Yeah. Can eating slow and maybe going to bed 5-10 minutes earlier make a big difference? Yes. Or a small difference?
I won't say big, because it depends on other things that is happening with life. But I would say if you focus on small daily habits consistently, the impact is big. So maybe that small habit today is not really gonna show that big impact on the same day, but building these small habits day by day, focusing one thing at a time, in the near future, you're gonna see that big impact. And I'm gonna give you an example, because sometimes I run group workshops where we challenge. We join a WhatsApp group, including myself, and we do like this gut reset challenge. And we focus a lot on real whole food, eliminating the ultra processed food, focusing on the metabolic plate, because this is one of the biggest thing I see, that people don't know how to structure their meal to balance, their blood sugar. Either they put less protein or less veggies, or they try to eliminate carbs completely. So we focus on, first of all, rebuilding the positive relationship with carbs, because not all carbs are bad, making sure we're having enough protein, not skipping meals, and so on. The feedback I get from just a week is amazing. Some of them would say, my skin is glowing, and I haven't seen my skin like this for many years. And they would actually send me a selfie. I'm like, I don't have any moisturize on my skin, and look how it's glowing. Another person would tell me, I'm not bloated anymore. In just 1 week, actually your gut needs 3 to 5 days to lower the inflammation. So in 3 to 5 days, you can actually start seeing that change. And it starts on your skin, and it starts in the bloating. Another mom actually told me, and it was, I think, two weeks into the program, thank you, because this is the first time I sleep like this. She wasn't able to sleep, deep sleep, by just doing these small swaps that we did together for 2 weeks. She was able to finally have a good sleep, and she directly felt it on her energy, on her mood, on everything. So to answer you, maybe that small habit that you focus on today will not directly lead to a big change. But if you do that, and the next day you do something else, like walking 10 minutes after the meal, the third would be like disconnecting 5 minutes before sleep, they quickly build up into creating something big. And this change that happens is irreversible. It's not something, it's a shift that will happen in your body, in yourself, that there's no way of going back, because you finally feel good inside your own skin. Mm-hmm. And that feeling is invaluable. And you never want to lose it again. So that shift is big.
Mm-hmm. So you talk a lot about blood sugar and balancing that out. And just from my own personal experience, I know like my energy would fluctuate throughout the day. I've had periods in life when things are so busy, I don't have time to think about what's on my plate, the proteins, the fats, whatever. I'm eating on the go, and I'm currently in this phase, to be super transparent, because I'm so busy. But basically, I feel the difference. Mm-hmm. And so how can we avoid these afternoon dips? I think that's the biggest struggle a lot of us deal with, is that 2 p.m. I just want to like take a little nap, but like it's almost like you have to snap out of it. Maybe you're saying it's by maybe how you eat, or what would you recommend?
I would say 90% it is because how you eat. The other percent could be you're just tired or burned out. But balancing your blood sugar and avoiding those spikes in blood sugar really helps in keeping your energy levels steady throughout the day. Because when your blood sugar spikes, let's say you skipped breakfast and you skipped lunch, and then you munched on anything that you saw, it could be a cookie or something that is high in sugar, your blood sugar will spike really quickly. And what happens is that it will crush back down really quickly, leaving you hungry again, and you're going to have that energy crash that you're describing. So how to avoid that from happening? I would say start your day with protein, fiber, and good carbs. It doesn't have to be like the first thing you eat in the morning. I have a lot of women that don't like to eat breakfast. They skip breakfast. I would tell them, I don't mind you skipping breakfast as long as you have 3 main meals a day. Mm. Because when you skip one meal, it means you're not achieving your protein intake for that day. It's impossible to eat 20 to 30 grams of protein by just eating 2 meals. First of all, we don't recommend having more than 20 to 30 grams of protein per meal, because it's not going to be any more bioavailable for your body. It's hard to digest and so on. So as a woman, you need to be consuming between, every person is different, but the range is between 90 grams to 120 grams of protein a day. And if every meal is 30 grams of protein, so you need like 3 main meals.
That's like 5 eggs, right? If you want to see what 30 grams is like,
Yeah.
that's 5 eggs. I think
Yeah.
each egg is 6 grams. I don't think most women hit it. Like, we just don't think
Yeah.
about it.
But what would happen if, say, for example, we put 120 grams of protein in one meal? What would happen internally in terms of digestion?
In terms, protein is a very big molecule and it's very hard to digest. That's why we recommend it in every meal. Because when a big molecule like protein or fat are combined to the carbs, which is a molecule that is easier to digest, when they combine together, the sugar from the carbs get absorbed very slowly in the body. So we won't be having that sugar spike. Instead, we're going to be having a very stable curve of sugar in our body. So imagine, first of all, it's very hard to eat 120 grams of protein. It's like eating like a full chicken by yourself. You're going to feel like you're going to be feeling full before you're able to finish. But if you stuff it in all together, it's going to be very hard for you to digest it. You're going to feel so heavy. And most of it might go to waste and your body won't be able to absorb it. So, and it's going to be putting a lot of pressure on your kidneys as well. So we don't recommend having more than 35 grams of protein, let's say, per meal. We recommend spacing out your protein intake throughout the day. First, to keep that blood sugar steady, and second, to keep your meal realistic, something you can actually enjoy.
I want to talk about snacking because some of us like to graze, and I'm a big snacker, I have to admit.
Me too.
My friends all know this. So how can we come up with hacks to snack well? So I'm going to guess, tell me if I'm right, pairing like an apple ideally with cheese, like a fat with a carb. How can you give us some more like cheat sheet examples?
Yeah, so always, when you think of, first of all, when you think of snacking, you have to think that whatever I'm snacking on needs to give me energy for quite some time. So if you're snacking only on, let's say, one date or an apple or something, that's pure sugar coming into your body, causing that spike and that crash, and you're gonna, So we always like glucose goddess say, coat your sugar. So, and it really helps. So, for example, apple with nut butter. Like one of my favorites is green apple with nut butter and some sea salt on top of it. Dates with nuts or nut butter inside. Chia seed pudding, for example. You get the protein, you get the fiber.
Cottage cheese.
Cottage cheese is good with, some high fiber crackers, a drizzle of honey on top. Dark chocolate is also very, very good because it provides you with antioxidants, with magnesium, potassium. So dark chocolates with few nuts on the side is a good option. Edamame, for example, roasted chickpeas.
So popcorn. Like this is a big one for a lot of people, so I need to bring it up. Popcorn, I know it's a pure carb, but with the butter, does that help a little bit? Really, I put a lot of butter.
It's a good carb, but it's a carb, but it's a high fiber carb. Okay. So
it's not as bad.
With butter, it's a good hack. So butter, you can, like for example, have popcorn and on the side drink kefir, for example.
Okay. So always think in terms of having fat or something more protein.
Fat. I would always like to focus more on protein. Because it's the hardest for us to achieve throughout the day. Fat is so easy, like nuts, is like few nuts and you're there. Carb is the easiest. So protein is the hardest thing. So as much as you can incorporate it in your snacks and your meals, the better. And
mitochondria is a big term just thrown around. Can you explain what does that even mean and how does that relate to energy? Is it even in your gut, for example?
So mitochondria is in every cell in your body. It's inside the cell, and it's what produces energy. It produces ATP energy. So mitochondria feeds on glucose, for example, and produces energy. So glucose is the molecule that gives energy in the body, that produces ATP, which is the energy that goes and to your organs, to your muscles, and so on. So mitochondria is your survival part of every cell, and it exists in all your cells, not only in the gut. In every cell, there's a mitochondria. That's how this cell is alive. It's
I see. So there's no way to like optimize the mitochondria, like to feel more energized. Is that a thing?
to optimize it is by reducing oxidative stress.
Okay.
So, and to reduce oxidative stress is by having an anti-inflammatory diet, reducing the ultra-processed food, taking care of your gut, because so your gut is house of trillions of microorganisms, from good bacteria to parasites to viruses to everything like small microorganisms live in your gut, and they all have some job. Now the good bacteria's job is to first digest food and reabsorb the good nutrients inside the body. They also produce antioxidants, which we call butyrates. So the good bacteria produces butyrate, which is your antioxidants. So they help reduce the oxidative stress for your cells to thrive, and your cells thrive when your mitochondria is in good health. So I want you to imagine that you're living in a very high stress mode. High stress spikes cortisol, which also impacts your gut health. So you're living in a high stress mode. You're living in on-the-go snacks. You're skipping meals and you're eating whatever's convenient for you, like protein bars and high protein labeled smoothies and so on. So ultra processed food, which also stress your gut. Add to it the chemical, the pollutions, everything that we're surrounded with. So this puts so much pressure on these small armies that are standing in your gut and helping, produce antioxidants. So what happens is that slowly, this army gets weakened by all the stressors. And when it gets weakened, we talk about something called the leaky gut. And leaky gut is called leaky because your army is not able anymore to protect your body from all the undigested food, all the toxins, all the chemicals from penetrating inside your body. So all these, undigested things and strangers start passing through your gut because now it's leaking, and they go inside your body. And what happens when your body doesn't recognize something, like for example a virus? The first thing that it does is that it triggers inflammation, and inflammation is your survival mechanism. It fights it. So let's imagine a virus, and now instead of the virus, I want you to imagine a toxin or an undigested food. It penetrated your body. It triggered that, acute inflammation. That's day one. The body was strong. It fighted. It calmed down. Second day, same. Third day, same. So living for a long time in this high stress mode with a leaky gut, that acute inflammation that had a role to protect your body for a short term turned into a chronic inflammation. And when it's in a chronic inflammation, your body starts fighting itself because it's lost.
So that's autoimmune.
It triggers autoimmune. Chronic inflammation is the driver of 80% of chronic diseases that are happening worldwide.
Wow. In terms of mitochondrial health, as Judy was saying, how can we optimize it in a way where we can make it even that much stronger by taking, say, either eating certain foods in specific times of the day or supplements in specific times of the day, just to make it that much stronger? We're eating healthy, you're exercising, you're moving, but you want to take it up a little bit more.
Yeah.
For example, it's better to have vitamin C in the morning or vitamin D. How do you pair certain vitamins and minerals together or foods together to create the best mitochondrial health? I
wouldn't say that there is this magic way of boosting your mitochondria, because your mitochondria is excellent on its own. It doesn't need that boost. What it needs is a good environment to live in, so it can be performing as its best. And it's your job to keep that environment safe for that mitochondria to be able to performing. And to keep it safe, you need to lower your inflammation, you need to manage your stress, you need to take care of your gut health, your movement as well. So all these things that we've talked about, having, feeling good inside out by having an anti-inflammatory, gut health-friendly diet, will help your mitochondria perform as its best. Now, when it comes to the vitamin combinations, So there are some vitamins that are recommended to be taken a certain way. For example, vitamin C is known to energize you. So it's not recommended to be taking it afternoon because it might affect your sleep. So I would always recommend to take it first thing in the morning. You can take it along with iron because vitamin C helps iron to get absorbed. But what you should avoid from taking around iron and vitamin C is your calcium, because calcium is stronger than iron. So if you take calcium and iron together, the calcium will compete with the iron, push it back out of the body, and the calcium will get absorbed. That's why we never take iron and calcium together. So we need to space them out 2 hours at least.
I heard coffee too, not to drink it with iron.
Coffee, like not directly, but coffee is a dehydrator. So it really like dehydrates your body, and it might, with the water going out of your body, some of the iron will also be excreted.
So is it to pairing dairy with meat, for example, is wrong?
So if you're suffering from iron deficiency, I would always recommend avoiding it. And instead squeeze always some lemon juice on your meat or on your greenery. For example, spinach and other things that are high in the non-heme vitamin C to be better absorbed in the body. And the non-heme iron, you need to help them, help the absorption, because the non-heme iron that comes from plant-based is not that absorbed in the body and active as much as the heme iron that comes from animal-based protein. So if you're eating mlokhiyeh or spinach or greeneries, always squeeze some lemon juice on it to boost that iron.
Our ancestors knew.
Yeah, they
Exactly.
did know.
really knew.
Exactly.
I believe
This is
it.
one of the main things that,
They really did. And if you dig even deeper, the quote unquote cheapest foods are full protein, like mjaddara, for example. It's a lentil and a rice. It's full
exactly.
protein.
They combine the plant-based food.
It's amazing. Or peanut butter and
Chickpeas and something.
bread.
Yes.
It's a full...
Yeah, or even
It's-
like drinking ayran next to heavy foods
Yeah,
for the
exactly,
probiotics.
for the probiotics.
It's amazing.
So true.
Yeah.
Maybe just follow trends, whatever's working, pop on supplements because it's going to make me feel better.
But then it's a waste of money and time if you're taking supplements
Wrong.
that cancel each other or not with the right fat pairing for
Yes,
absorption.
exactly.
How about this vitamin D3, K2 lingo?
Yeah.
There's all this fear around if you take D3 alone, you're not absorbing anything.
Yeah.
Can you debunk or validate this?
Yeah, so vitamin D is better taken with K2.
Okay.
And most of the good supplements already have K2 with it. So if you're buying a vitamin D supplement, always check if it has K2. And K2 helps channel vitamin D into the right place, for example, into the bone and the calcium, because vitamin D is what helps convert calcium inside your body. So for example, when you're below 18 years old, you need calcium to grow bones. But after a certain age, the calcium that you eat from food no longer helps with your bone density. Okay? So your bone density, like your bones are made from calcium. They form until a certain age. Usually it's between 16 and 18 for girls. After that age, the calcium that you're taking is no longer depositing directly into your bones. The vitamin D role to help convert that calcium into a calcium that your body actually needs. If that doesn't happen and you're lacking vitamin D, your body starts taking calcium from your bones, which leads to osteoporosis.
Which is becoming or osteopenia. And even, don't they say that your calcium can be stored in your arteries if you don't pair it with
K2.
Yeah.
So if you don't take, so K2 helps the vitamin D channel into the bones, into where it needs to produce the calcium inside the bones. If not, it can be channeled into the arteries and it can help like calcification other places in the body.
That's really
But
interesting.
most of the good supplements out there know this, and they always, provide you vitamin D with a K2 formula. They just don't state it, on the front label always.
What are some things our listeners, even us, should look out for when buying supplements?
I would say always buy supplements from a reliable brand. The first thing I check for is heavy metal and third-party testing. This is extremely, extremely important because a lot of vitamins are made of cheap fillers inside, or especially probiotics and all these things. But what we actually really need to know is that we don't need much supplements. So I get messages every day, MMI8, NAD+, all these emerging things, and people are fearing that they're missing out. Like, What if I'm feeling like down or I'm fatigued and I don't sleep because I'm not taking the right supplements? And before jumping into supplements, because as the name mentions, supplement something, we have to look at your fundamentals, which are your nutrition, your sleep, your stress, and your movement. If all these pillars are not taken care of, taking any supplement will not work. Because if your gut is inflamed and it's not absorbing properly, how will it absorb all these vitamins?
That's why, yeah. First, fix the gut to optimize
Fix your gut,
supplements.
fix your nutrition, fix everything, and then we think of supplements. Yes, some supplements become important at certain stage of life, and to name some, it's omega-3, for example. Omega-3 is extremely, extremely important because it's your anti-inflammatory fatty acid versus omega-6, which is your pro-inflammatory fatty acid. And the ratio of omega-3 to omega-6 is so important. So at the beginning, that ratio should have been 1-to-1. And after a few years, the scientists found that omega-6 is available in a lot of food. It's found in seeds, it's found in nuts, it's found in seed oils, and that's why seed oils now they say that they are inflammatory because they're high in omega-6, which is essential. It's essential for survival. It's your pro-inflammatory fatty acid that you need to trigger the inflammation to survive. And then they discovered that, okay, omega-6 is much more available in the world than omega-3. So a healthy ratio would be 1-to-4. So 1 omega-3 and 4 omega-6. The ratio nowadays in the States, I would say, is almost 1-to-54.
What?
1, because in every food out there, you're going to find some kind of oil. Palm oil, canola oil, sunflower oil, seed oil, vegetable oil, and all these things are high in omega-6. So what's happening is that, imagine a balance like this, and that's why you're living in a chronic inflammation state, because that pro-inflammatory fatty acid is so available. So the first thing a woman should think of as a supplement is omega-3, just to help, balance it out a bit.
The quality of the fish oil is important though,
yes,
right? Because
yes.
of the mercury.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we don't eat a lot of fatty fish. It's recommended to eat minimum twice a week. But with all, now all the things about, farm-raised salmon.
Is farm-raised salmon more toxic than the toxic products that we know?
Yeah.
Like fast food,
No.
soda.
So it's not as hyped up like this whole thing.
I will tell you
Yes.
because it really saddens me how these social media things start creating fear around food that is still considered healthy and needed for our body. It could be eggs and milk and, conventional, not organic fruits and vegetables. And this fear about, need to buy really is pushing away people from buying the really healthy stuff and moving into buying processed food, packaged food, which is even more dangerous for our bodies. So farm-raised salmon, yes, they might contain more toxins than wild-caught salmon. They might be put some coloring in their food to help them, look orange and more appealing. But they are still an excellent source of vitamins, of fat-soluble vitamins, of omega-3, protein, good fats. Our bodies are detox machines. We are able to detox ourselves from toxins. If our gut is good, if our liver is good, if we have a healthy lifestyle, our body is able to protect us. So having twice salmon, a fillet like standard size a week, is not dangerous because that load of toxins that will come inside your body is able to clear it out. Now, having everyday farm-raised salmon for a year, yes, it might start creating problems.
So the benefits outweigh the costs.
Exactly.
Generally.
Same goes with eggs. Nutritionally speaking, if we're talking about quality of the egg, like organic, even pasture-raised, which is not really present in the UAE, but organic at least, nutritionally wise, is better because it contains higher omega-3, better omega-3. It contains a bit more, vitamins. But in terms of safety, they're both safe. It's like eating a conventional egg. Yes, it's coming from a chicken that is, maltreated. The safety of that egg versus the safety of organic egg is quite similar. So an egg remains one of the most cost-effective, affordable way of nourishing your body. So I would prefer you, if you can't afford an organic egg, yes,
Still have that.
still have it.
It's a
and
multivitamin.
and balance it.
Yeah.
We're talking about the safety of food.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Are we eating food or food-like products?
There's so many ways to answer this question. So if we're talking about fresh food, so if you're talking about, fruits and vegetables, and it really depends where you live. So if you live in in Dubai, where a lot of the food is imported, a lot of the vitamins, yes, they get lost along the way, because some vitamins, like vitamin C, for example, starts degrading in fruits and vegetables when it's exposed to sunlight and air. And so the vitamins, the richness of fruits in the vitamin and the minerals is less when it's imported, versus eating it straight from a local farm or a local tree.
Support local.
Support local, yes, exactly. But and there's also this part of GMO and making fruits look nice so they can sell more. So I would say, if you're comparing the fruits and vegetables that you see in the supermarket versus those that you would see in a garden that you've planted, they're different in terms of nutrition profile. But in terms of other things that you need, like the fiber, the water, it still contains some antioxidants. It's still much, much better than, eating like a packaged thing made of fruit juice concentrate, let's say, which has no vitamins at all. But there's an alternative to that, which is frozen fruits and vegetables that a lot of people fear. And what's actually interesting is that frozen fruits and vegetables contain more nutrients than fresh ones, because first of all, they are cultivated at the right time, and directly they are batch freezed, so they maintain all the nutrients inside, especially when it comes to berries. Like I buy a lot of frozen berries. I use it in a lot of recipes. The kids love it as a snack on its own with their yogurt. So it's really like an affordable way of having something that has more nutrients than buying it fresh, and we don't know for how long has it been on the shelf. So don't worry in terms of safety. I would say, if you're cycling your fruits and vegetables, don't buy, let's say you like Royal Gala apples. Next week, buy a different type of apple, Granny Smith. And the third week, buy Royal Gala from a different country. Rotate your vegetables and fruits. It really first helps enrich your gut microbiome. And second of all, you're just going to be balancing out anything. If that specific country, that specific farming has used a lot of pesticides, let's say, at least you're going to be... Variety. So balance is key when it comes
balance,
to...
not boring. Whenever a guest says balance, we have to say that. It's like automatic.
Balance is key to salmon, to eggs, to fruits and vegetables, to everything in your life, even to junk food and treats. We
still dabble in.
We need them.
Yes.
It's good for the soul. It's fine.
Good for the soul, and you feel happy with that. Because of time, we're gonna run to the Pick Toni's Brain section.
Okay.
Because we have a lot of fun questions to ask you. So things that all of us women wonder and don't have that factual data to prove it. What's one thing women thinks boosts metabolism, but actually it slows it down, that we're all doing?
Maybe too much cardio, I would say, or high-intensity workouts.
And can you explain, is it the adrenals because of
that?
Like
high-intensity workouts, if you don't allow yourself to recover, let's say you do spinning classes every day and you don't allow your body to recover well, can keep your cortisol levels at high and can keep your fat stubborn from losing weight. So instead of, boosting your metabolism, it's not really metabolism, but it's actually helping you lose weight. Another thing would be under-eating and living on caffeine. It's not necessarily intermittent fasting, but under-eating in general plays against you. And it slows down your metabolism big time. So, and I see a lot of women, especially after the age of 35, when they feel that, oh my God, we're aging, our metabolism slowing down. They feel that they're putting on weight easier than before. the first thing they do is they start cutting out food and eating less. And this really plays against their hormones and their metabolism and everything else. So I would say that.
Are all calories created equal?
Absolutely not. Your body looks at food as information. So calorie is one part of the information, but the nutrients inside that food is information as well. And the richer the information is in nutrients and antioxidants and fiber and vitamin, the happier your body would be.
Okay. Is gluten always bad?
Gluten is not always bad, but the gluten that we find in refined forms of wheat that has been stripped out of, fiber and nutrients, has been processed to become inflammatory in the body is bad. The gluten that exists in Asian grains like burghul and couscous and the things that, come as close to its natural form as possible is good, and it's high in fiber. Gluten that you find in enriched wheat flour or flour starches and things that has been like so much processed is inflammatory for the body. It's
important to distinguish like gluten that you eat from bread in a place where it's mass produced is different than when you digest it from a place like people say in Europe. They don't have as much bloating issues when they eat bread there. Is it because of the fermentation process?
Yes, if they're eating sourdough bread, sourdough on its own is a gut boosting food because of the good bacteria in it and the fermentation. But usually the type of flour that they use in Europe and especially in Italy is not a processed form of flour. You find it least processed, not sprayed with pesticides, and doesn't have too much chemicals inside. Plus, what characterizes Europe versus here is that they walk a lot.
There was a study in France, by the way, about how French people eat a lot of baguette and drink a lot of wine, but they still look so thin. Because they enjoy their food and they enjoy their meal, and they're walking so much. They have no other choice but to walk home or wherever.
I truly believe if you're eating it stressed and scared of the weight you're going to gain, you are going to hold on to some kind of, whether it's the cortisol that's raised, like you have this retention versus like your body really maybe is reading what you're saying. Like it will digest better and you won't have the bloat and all of that.
I lived in Italy for a year. And I was eating pasta and pizza and walking, and I never had any gut issues.
That's amazing.
Take me out here, have a slice of pizza, and I immediately feel...
Same.
Because we go from one place to another by car, we sit, we're stressed. So, yes.
So bloating, on that note, is bloating normal?
Yes and no. So bloating is normal when you're eating like high fiber food. It's like part of your bacteria working. It's a sign that your bacteria is working. So a bit of bloating after a meal is fine. What's not normal is that when that bloating lasts for longer, when it starts hurting, when there's gas production, that's when it's not normal. So a bit of bloating is normal. Too much bloating that causes pain and gas and stays for a long time is a sign of inflammation. Something is not working.
How about in terms of inflammation? Is dairy inflammatory for everyone, or some can digest?
No, it is inflammatory for people who have sensitive guts, who have lactose intolerance. It could be, especially the dairy we drink these days, the protein in the dairy is like processed as well. The cows are fed hormones and things that causes inflammatory fats. But I would say, if it's not bothering you, if you don't have any, signs that dairy is bothering you, don't have acne or gut health issues, it's okay. But if you have sensitive gut, if you're prone to stress and inflammation, then probably avoiding dairy would help. Yeah.
What's the hype with A2 dairy?
So A2 dairy is a protein inside the cow milk, which is not as inflammatory as A1 dairy. So usually dairy contains A1 and A2 protein. It is easier to be digested by the body, so it's kinder on the gut, so it doesn't causes inflammation.
So that's a good way to maybe start or try and see if you can handle that.
Yeah.
How about oats? Oats are very controversial. Do you think they're actually something like they have nutrients, or it's just another fad?
Yeah. The first one, it depends on how you're eating your oats. So if you're eating your oats with oat milk, let's say, that's a sugar bomb recipe that's highly inflammatory, and that's when oats become dangerous. If you're preparing your oatmeal with, let's say, Greek yogurt, or even if you prepare it with oat milk, which I'm not a fan at all, but you eat some eggs and Greek yogurt on the side, balance it with some protein and fat, it's fine. So oats on their own are high in nutrients, they're high in fiber, they're high in vitamins. I would always recommend to opt for organic versions because the non-organic one are at more risk to be sprayed with, pesticides, glyphosate, and all these things. But having oats is an important part of your diet because it's a great way of boosting your fiber intake. It contains a bit of protein as well, but how you prepare your oats matter.
Interesting.
Yeah.
How about salt? People don't know which salt to choose. So
Yeah.
Himalayan salt versus iodized salt. What would you pick?
A balance.
Yeah, because they're both maybe
Yeah.
semi-beneficial.
Salt is not the enemy. So this is one thing to clear out, that salt is needed because it's an electrolyte that your body needs to thrive. It also helps your muscles to perform better. I would say the Himalayan salt, sea salt, Celtic salt, all contains different levels of minerals. Celtic salt it's rich in potassium and other electrolytes that helps energize. So usually I take a bit in the morning instead of taking electrolytes. With salads and stuff like that, I use Himalayan salt. So I kind of vary my salt. I try to steer away of commercial salts because I don't really know how much heavy metals there's inside, if there's like polluted with other things. Iodized salt, I would say it's not that important unless you have, thyroid issues, where usually we recommend, supplementing your diet with
So it's a
iodized
way
salt.
to do that.
Yeah.
How about glutathione?
Yeah.
People say it's good for anti-aging. It's
Yeah.
good for the gut. What are
Yeah.
your thoughts?
I think it's you can take it from food, so it's not necessarily a supplement. But if your food is not high in protein and all these things that rich in glutathione, you can consider a supplement. It's extremely important in helping your liver function properly. So your liver is your detox organ, and as we said, we need our liver to be performing very well to be able to face the world with all the heavy metals and all the toxins that are happening. So it's extremely important also for estrogen metabolism and clearing out your body from estrogen, because estrogen gets cleared out in two phases. The first one is the liver. So the liver converts the active estrogen into a metabolite that is not active anymore, takes it to the gut. The gut's role is to bind it with fiber and release it in the stool. And glutathione plays a role in first helping the liver, convert that active estrogen into an inactive metabolite. So glutathione as well helps major role in gut health. So it has a lot of important jobs in the body, but you can take it.
NAD plus, or these IVs or supplements, are they actually going to help you with energy and metabolism?
After a certain age, when your cells are a bit, they already face the oxidative stress, they're aging a bit, they might help, re-energize your cells, support your mitochondria, and give you more energy. Your energy comes from your cells. So if your cells are under pressure, under oxidative stress, they're aging too quickly, they're burned out, you will feel the like your energy is dropping down. So if you take care of yourself by having an anti-inflammatory diet, balancing your blood sugar, ensuring you're taking the right protein and fiber, two important parts, movement, managing stress, managing sleep. It's fine.
No pressure.
No pressure. But
just overtired, stimulated moms dealing with life.
We don't need too much.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need too much, really. Like, think about our ancestors before. They didn't really, and they lived to hundreds. So we don't really need that much. But because we lead a stressful life and we live in a modern life where convenience is there, digital life is there, we live always in a rush, maybe taking some extra help from supplements like NAD plus becomes important after a certain age.
We stopped enjoying food and gatherings, and the beauty of food is cooking it.
Yeah.
Cooking it and sharing it with
and
people.
sharing it with everyone.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of...
Blue zones do that. That's why
absolutely.
they say to.
Actually, one of the tips I give is that cook your food also while dancing, because studies have shown that cooking while enjoying it and singing really prepares your digestive system for that food. So you enjoy it with ease and you digest it with peace, and it really like flows smoothly in your body. So preparing meals, singing, happy mood really sets your body for that meal, and it really plays, and studies have actually proved that.
That's beautiful. And on that note, we want to show what we have on the table.
So
There you go. Show and tell.
yeah. So actually Generation H was born from a mom who's a dietitian who's tired of, being misled by food out there. I'm a dietitian. I always had bloating and gut health issues, and I didn't really understand why. Even as a dietitian, they don't teach you this in university. It was actually after I became a mom. As a mom, you always want what's best for your kids. So my son always had gut issues when he was young, but after he started real solid food, I start buying him all these snacks. He developed severe eczema and asthma. And that was shut, like it would be good with medicine, but when we stopped the medicine, it would come back. We've tried a lot of things. We've seen a lot of doctors, but it was actually when I met with the one homeopath doctor, very, very old Indian doctor. And she was the first person, a doctor, physician, healthcare practitioner, who would ask me, what are you feeding your son? And I was like offended a bit because I'm a dietitian and I know what to feed my son. I was like, I'm only buying him things from the organic shop. And she's like, I don't care what you're buying from the organic shop. I want you to read the ingredients on that food you're giving him. So I went home and I realized that all the cookies, all the date bars, all the cereals, everything, even the fruit puree, everything that I was giving him had sugar inside. Every single product had sugar inside. So I removed everything and I started to make things at home, and his health got better in a month. And after that, he never had to take medicine in his life.
Wow.
Okay?
Food is medicine, honestly.
But you can't always count on home-baked things. Like, I'm a mom, I work, so I had to go back and buy these snacks. So then I started to read the ingredient to see, and I discovered that there was so much products out there, even if it wasn't organic, stating high fiber, all natural, high in vitamins. But when you flip the label, you would see things like glucose syrup, high fructose corn syrup, emulsifiers, acidity regulators, things that your body is not designed to understand. You can't understand it, your body won't either. So I was like, oh my God, how was I giving this to my son every single day? I'm fine with it, like, occasionally, but giving all these crackers and it shocked me. Like, how am I a dietitian and I'm being misled by all these things? What about all the moms out there?
I loved what you said about ingredients. I was looking at one of the podcasts you did. You're like, if there's one ingredient you don't know or not sure, let it go.
Let it go, because your body will not. We're not designed to be understanding all these things. Your body will help you detox it a bit, but when it's in everything you eat, it becomes
like, why
too
make
much.
Your liver work harder when it should be digesting or detoxing other things?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I started this, Toni approved movement. It started with my small community, my small workshops. And because I saw that their health was shifting with, changing from ultra-processed food to clean food, I became more invested in the subject, and I did more research about clean label, what ingredients to avoid, and like things as simple as maltodextrin, for example. Like, I've always saw it in a lot of food, but I didn't really give it that attention. But maltodextrin spikes your blood sugar more than sugar.
Who knows that? No one's educated us
It's
on
because
that.
it's not named sugar, so people won't know. Sugar comes in 60 different types. 60.
Fructose.
Fructose is one of them. Until there was one day, and I will be forever grateful for this lady. She's a friend also, and she was like, we wish there was a shop where everything Toni approved was sold. Like, only Toni approved, which makes our life easier, our health better, and, reduces all this overwhelm with, we have to read ingredients, we have to try to understand everything. I'm like, that's it. So I always had Generation H in mind, and H is for healthy, happy humans. and I registered the name 10 years ago because I wanted to do school programs. So I always liked to teach kids on how to live a healthier lifestyle. So then I was like, that's it. So it's a shop, but also it's a place, it's a community, it's a platform where you also can learn and empower yourself to shop what your body really deserves. So Generation H, Healthy Happy Humans, is a place where you can shop, learn, and grow to become a better version of yourself. Everything that is sold is Toni approved, so dietitian approved. I use something called the H code, which is no high fructose corn syrup, no MSG, no non-GMO, no artificial things. So basic things that are hidden in a lot of healthy label products. That's why here, like, you've been H coded. Don't blame us if you break up with your old snacks.
Oh, that's so cute.
So,
but we probably will because these are so good.
It's good. It's a new standard, so it's a new way of living.
Amazing.
With clean ingredients and real transparency. So we don't stock anything that has a misleading label on it. We make sure that every ingredient meets our H code. We try to stay, close to our promise as much as we can. And all the products are from different brands. I try as much as I can to support UAE-born brands because there's a lot of brands here that deserve the light. They're really working on the recipes, trying to bring healthier products. And when they're put on a shelf in a supermarket surrounded with all these giant brands that are not good, they don't really get the light they deserve. So Generation H is for people, but also for brands that deserve the light to be out there. And it's stuff that I would feed my kids, myself, as a dietitian and as a mom. And it's there to make,
it's life healthy, easier for
life
mom.
Easier. And also, so it's not there to tell you don't eat chocolate. Like, no, we have a lot of chocolate here, by the way. We have the good chocolate, but it's not here to tell you don't eat, chips or, processed things. No, we believe in balance. We're here to help people who are consciously trying to live healthy and they are being misled by the false healthy marketing. That's why we exist. We don't exist to tell you don't eat the things you love. Yes, eat them occasionally, enjoy them. But we're here to guide you. If you're trying to live a healthy life and you're still buying these products because you think they're healthy, we're here to tell you these are not healthy for you. These are the ones that are truly healthy for you. So this is why Generation H exists. Long story, but
no, it's so nice
good.
to hear. We need more of that. Like we want to be
do.
educated on what we're buying, not just buy it because we assume it's good.
Exactly.
But it's nice that you already filter through for us.
Yeah.
And on that note, we're also sponsored by Teal.
Yes.
Tamara's love and baby. Yeah.
All the products are suited to meet different taste buds.
Okay.
So some are driven towards people that really want that sugar kick, but not the white sugar, not the refined sugar. The loaves, for example, don't have that much sweetness. There's a bit of a different balance. They don't have adaptogens in there. I don't use adaptogens everywhere because you have to use them. I mean, you have to be quite careful with them too.
Yeah. So there's the thing. Clean doesn't have to be,
boring.
No sugar. No, like clean label is just minus all the junk that troubles your body. But it can still it can still be high in sugar. Yeah. It can still, because it needs to taste good as well.
This is why it's amazing to have all these things here that we can still enjoy and indulge in practical ways that won't kill us over time. So thank you so much for coming on, Toni. We loved meeting you and hearing about your story.
Me too.
We hope it was, inspiring and educational.
Super inspiring.
Yeah.
Yes.
This was a really great episode, really with a lot of great insight on gut myths and, hacks and everything in between.
Yeah.
So
Thank
true.
you.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.